Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to this ceremony at the University of York. Please be seated. I declare open this ceremony for the conferment of awards.
Chancellor, I have the honour of presenting our Honorary Graduand, Alison Birkinshaw, OBE. In December 2014, The Independent published an obituary of Arthur Butterworth, the renowned English composer, inspired by the moods and moors of the north, and particularly of Yorkshire. It began, Arthur Butterworth's major work for orchestra include a violin concerto played by Nigel Kennedy, a viola concerto recorded by Sarah Jane Bradley, a guitar concerto for Craig Ogden, a notable organ concerto premiered by Gillian Weir, and others for cello and bassoon. It's a pity that the list of famous interpreters ended where it did, because if the set had been completed, we'd have learned that Butterworth's bassoon concerto, Opus 77, date 1985, was composed for Alison Birkinshaw. At that time, Alison was building the music department of Nelson and Colne College towards its outstanding Ofsted rating. Outstanding Ofsteds are something we'll return to presently. She spent a lot of time conducting, took ensembles from the college on tours at home and abroad. But anyone who's listened to Butterworth's concerto, as I have, will know she must also have played a mean bassoon. Indeed, over her career, she's played that instrument with regional orchestras, often as a soloist, and she still occasionally plays contrabassoon because she tells me it has fewer notes. Alison trained as a teacher in music and English. On graduating, she applied to every job available across the country in varied institutions, 70 applications. Nelson and Colne College was her first interview. She was offered the job, and she took the job of music lecturer. She didn't know what a further education college was or where Nelson was, but it must have been right because after building that large and successful music department, she moved into management and made creative arts at Nelson into another Ofsted outstanding department. After a time at Runshaw College as assistant principal in charge of their adult and HE provision, where she played a part in their outstanding rating, Alison returned to Nelson and Colne College as principal. She oversaw a full recovery program, resulting in a financially stable college, given Beacon College status, and again, outstanding Ofsted judgment. Then in 2008, Alison moved to York. York College is only 3 miles away from where we are now. The University of York is the largest education provider in this region, and it is one of the most successful institutions of higher education in this country. York College is the largest education provider for 16 to 19-year-olds, and it too is a national leader. It was judged outstanding by Ofsted in its most recent national inspection, but also, it's ranked 16th among English general further education colleges for level 6 success rates, which is the bulk of the college's provision. And there have been significant improvements in success rates in other areas, including 16 to 18 provision being 5% above the national average, adult provision 6% above the national average at level 3 and 14% at level 4. Apprenticeships 12% above the national average. Higher education provision ranked 5th out of 153 further education colleges. Students' progression to higher level qualifications and into jobs that meet local and regional needs is exceptionally high. York College has been characterised by the Skills Funding Agency as having outstanding financial health for 9 consecutive years. These are great achievements. As a governor of York College, myself, but only, I hasten to add, since these achievements were first reached, I do know how much they depend on the excellent leadership team. And at the top is Alison Birkinshaw. Part of the reason for Alison's success is her vision for the role of colleges. She believes a college should serve its community, meeting the needs of those who come through the doors, whoever they are. She sees the role of principal as custodian of the college for the next generation. Alison has had challenges to deal with in her earlier roles, but especially at York. She has responded to these with sensitivity, humanity, discernment, and importantly, she's led from the front with courage and grace. Alison's contributed to the region, past chair of the Higher York Board, chair of Learning City York, and a member of the York Economic Partnership, but her bigger influence outside the college has been at national level. From 2007, she led the National Further Education Reputation Steering Group, bringing a diverse group together to drive the development and implementation of a strategy that's been widely praised, successfully raising the profile and understanding of further education through research into employers' and employees' views of FE. Her other contributions to FE strategy at national level include work on the Framework for Excellence. In 2012, she received the OBE, recognising these outstanding services to further education. Chancellor, Alison is an educational leader of whom York can be proud, and it is with great pleasure that I present to you Alison Birkinshaw for the degree of Doctor of the University, Honoris Causa.
Chancellor, graduands, friends, well, I'm both privileged and humbled to be here today and to be thought worthy of such an honour. I also feel somewhat overwhelmed to have a place alongside the university's other eminent honorary doctorates. 20 years ago, almost to the day, I graduated with my first doctorate, and I would never have anticipated that many years later I would have been deemed worthy enough for today's accolade. I know the staff back at college are having a lovely time with doctor jokes, and I also know, having been through it myself, that the graduates here today, particularly those who are here in their PhD robes, are much more worthy than I to cross this stage. It has been a wonderful privilege for me to work in the FE sector for over 30 years. As you have heard, I'm a musician at heart, although when I decided to choose music as a career route, my father bet me £5 that I wouldn't earn a living. I am glad to have proved him wrong, and I'm also so glad that I followed my passion, and it led me into further education. I have learned many things over my time in colleges, and most of my learning has come from working with hundreds of inspirational students and staff. As I look back, it's clear that the most creative and inventive excuses come from the most creative and inventive students. I remember one who is now an extremely successful director of his own business, telling me that he couldn't bring in his homework because his brother had padlocked his bag to the radiator. I said, couldn't you have just unzipped the bag? Another talented student, a talented tenor, also ran his own ice cream van as a sideline. Maybe he honed his vocal skills by singing O Sole Mio along with the chimes. He certainly now earns a great living from his voice. However, one lovely summer's day, good for ice creams, he phoned into college to say he was stuck under his van and could not attend class. Perhaps our motor vehicle students could have helped him out had I thought more quickly. Because that's the most wonderful thing about further education colleges. We teach everything, from music to motor vehicle, engineering and stonemasonry, to A-levels, degrees, and the qualifications adult students need to get on in employment. Many of our students progress to this university. It's entirely possible that there are graduates here today who studied at York College. If so, a special well done to you. I know that my education was completely liberating for me, and it awakened my curiosity and love of learning. I hope that it has been the same for you. Because in my view, we graduates have a responsibility to approach life with integrity of thinking and curiosity about what might be possible in such a way that we can change our communities for the better. Just like the student of ours who studied art and the sciences and who is now designing prosthetic limbs for mine victims, studying and working in America. As he might say, your future is in your hands, or indeed the hands of others might be your own future. It is a real privilege that I have been able to play a very small part in the education of others, and I am grateful and thank you very much for this award. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ensemble et Anonymy will perform The Road Home by Stephen Paulus, followed by The Longest Time by Billy Joel.
Tell me where is the road I can call my just how much further we'll go on. Maybe I'll be sorry when you're gone. I'll take my chances. I forgot how nice romance is. I haven't been there for the longest time. I said to myself, hold on to your heart. Now I know the woman that you are. You're wonderful so far, and it's more than I hoped for. I don't care what consequence it brings. For lesser things, I intend to hold you for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor in Philosophy in Biological Chemistry. For research in the study of a lytic polysaccharide monooxygenase, Rebecca Gregory. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Chemistry, for research in spectral analysis of ozone, Dean Baudeleau. For research in binding biological polyanions with Samuel, Jingwan Chang. For research in hybrid and multi-component hydrogels, Dan Cornwall. For research in acid-catalyzed dimethyl carbonate chemistry, Saimeng Jin. For research in computer modelling of complex inorganic mechanisms, Richard John. For research in intramolecular CH activation of fluoroaromatics, Jessica Milani. For research in ruthenium vinylidene complexes in catalysis, Lucy Milner. For research in iodine chemistry's impacts on air quality and climate, Thomas Sherwin. For research in investigating the relationship between glutamine deamidation and collagen breakdown in bone, Joanna Simpson. For the degree of Master of Science in Green Chemistry and Sustainable Industrial Technology, Opiyemi Hussein. Andrew Manefa. Zhangzhu Meng. Zhenjiang Wang. Jinji Zhu. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Harry Kirby. James Ronson. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Biological and Medicinal Chemistry, Richard Bickford-Smith. Katerina Michael.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Education. For research in school-based factors affecting the study of physics, Talima Adolphus. For research in gender and subject choice in higher education, Jawahir Awalidani. For research in teaching children English as a foreign language, David John Brining. For research in vocational education and social cohesion today, Ioana Katsikopoulou. For research in psychology of Chinese students learning English, Winfried Mack. For research in expert teacher gaze across two cultural settings, Nora McIntyre. For research in education policy in rural areas, Yang Peng. For research in the role of teaching assistants in primary schools, Helen Sadler. For research in intercultural competence in study abroad, Jamie Scally. For research in young people's development of a reading identity, Chelsea Swift. For research in the English language and internationalization, Dozie Ugbaya. For the degree of Master of Arts in Applied Linguistics for English Language Teaching, Ji Yuan Hao. Yifan Wang. For the degree of Master of Arts in Education, Yen Shan Chan. Meng Yuan Chen. Luona Kong. Jia Lun Lai. Xin Wei Li. Yu Shan Li. Hongyang Peng. Shujun Shao. Ru Xiao. Wendy Zhang. For the degree of Master of Arts in Global and International Citizenship Education, Keishin Mu. Jiamin Zhang. For the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching English to Speakers of Other Languages, Jiajun Tsai. Xia Yao Chen. No Zafira Binti Che Mat. Cheng Cheng. Jingru Cheng. Han Yu Du. Jen Jen Fan. Cao Fang. Mengju Hu. Tianli Hu. Zhang Yu Huang. Nan Li. Yashin Li. Shasha Liu. Xinyang Liu. Xiao Xiao Long. Xinyu Luo. Yiza Ni. Jiani Peng. Ji Ying Chu. Li Ching Chuan. Hua Jue Chen. Meng Yuang Wang. Xiu Wang. Yun Ying Wang. Jiamin Wu. Yabao Wu. Tian Xiong. Yiluo Zhu Xu. Ying Ying Shu. Furong Yang. Shan Shan Yang. Xinyang Yang. Xiao Yin. Meng Yuan. Meisia Zhang. Xin Zhang. Shuang Zhu. Hong Zhenju. For the degree of Master of Arts in Teaching English to Young Learners, Nadine Erler. Barbara Walser. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Education, Gareth Dibiek.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Economics and Environmental Management. For research in leadership in small-scale fisheries, Abigail Sutton. For research in PPCPs in the environment of China, Xiaowen Wang. for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Environmental Science for research in freshwater swamp forest ecosystems, Nwabwizi Igu. For research in impact of co-formulants on pesticide behaviour, Majid Khan. For the degree of Master of Science in Corporate Social Responsibility with Environmental Management, Oliver James Bradley. Mary Madeline Ray. For the degree of Master of Science in Environmental Science and Management, Aidan Healy-Hill. Man Y. Liang. Katie Noakes. For the degree of Master of Science in Marine Environmental Management, Amy Balding. Joshua Copping. Helena Delgado Nordman. Samuel Dixon. Howell Evans. Ella Garrett. Kanina Harty. Jonathan Holden. Tara Lawrence. Olivia Mitrovitz. Jordan Pinder. James Spilsbury. Evelyn van der Steeg. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Environmental Science, Richard Chalkley.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Physics. For research in effects of perturbations on nanographene, Jack Baldwin. For research in plasma wall interactions in the jet fusion tokamak, James Beale. For research in hammer media based on exchange bias, Kelvin Elphick. For research in filamentary plasma eruptions in tokamaks, Sophia Henneberg. For research in treatment of prostate cancer with cold plasma, Adam Hurst. For research in electrons in model nanostructures, Matthew Hodgson. For research in fast 1D modelling of electronegative plasmas, Andrew Hurlbat. For research in magnetic null point modelling in Bout++, Brendan Shanahan. For research in diagnostics of atmospheric pressure plasma jets, Andrew West. For the degree of Master of Science by Research in Physics, Jennifer Corkill. For the degree of Master of Science in Fusion Energy, Joe Allen. Ben Crick. Simon Dustin. Benedict Johnston Bray. Sebastian Koch. Caroline Lumsden. Andrew Malcolm Neal. Matthew Smith. For the degree of Master of Physics in Theoretical Physics, Gareth Cornish. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Physics, Bradley Blackwell. Dalil Gajra. James Goodwin. Camilla Nera. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Physics with Astrophysics, Adam Shaw.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology. For research in how faces are represented in the human brain, Tessa Flack. For research in face recognition in challenging situations, Ailey Noyes. For research in individual differences and the experience of anger, Christopher Pease. For research in neural modelling of facial identity and expressions, Mladen Sormaz. For research in first impressions from faces, Jennifer South Palomares. And for research in peripheral factors affecting colour perception, Lauren Wellborn. And for the degree of Master of Research in Psychology, Amy Louise Atkinson. Maria Bulmer. And for the degree of Master of Science in Applied Forensic Psychology, Holly Baskerville. Katie Boardman. Stacey Boardman. Fionn Burke. Nicole Burke. Jonathan Dudley. Bethany Grist. Laura Hall. Savia Jagathes Warren. Sarah Johnson. Ava Savasti Kanturu. Megan Kay. Nicole King. Natasha Lacey. Shauna MacDonald. Dara McCashin. Ruth Mullen. Alicia Murray. Carrie Turner Fryatt. Lucinda Ward. And for the degree of Master of Science in Cognitive Neuroscience, Jennifer Armstrong. Elizabeth Booth. Charlotte Campbell. Mariana Decheva. Lucy Evans. Alexander Fitzjohn. Ben Fosh. Leah Kelly. Bhuvneet Kula. Faith Marsh. Andrew Mattow. Eleanor Morganrot. Daniel Pledger. Emma Smith. Theodora Thordson. Safir Sitsopoulou. Kirsty Wales Newson. Adele Louise Wright. Mengjia Zhang. And for the degree of Master of Science in Development, Disorders and Clinical Practice, Alexander Billings. Jessica Brown. Cici Tsai. Bethany Carrington. Wan Yi Le Wendy Chan. Ka Yan Cheng. Rebecca Firth. Anna Husey. Florence Leung. Diana Ognyanova. Kirsten Pereira. Maximilian Tyndall. Vanessa Truran. Josie Tulip. Lakita Upal. And for the degree of Master of Science in Developmental Cognitive Neuroscience, Mark Doyle. Yanzi Guan. Xin Ruan. Olivia Sharp. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Callum Abbott. And for the degree of Master of Arts in Global Social Policy, Lily Josephine Sims-Chidanley. And for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Malik Atefuz Zaman.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't start to tell you what a true privilege and honour it is to preside at one of these ceremonies and to have the very humbling experience of shaking hands with and congratulating such an amazing group of graduates. Today, it's been primarily a degree ceremony for postgraduates, that is, for those who already have a degree from somewhere else. And so many of those who have walked across this platform today have been awarded a PhD. And for a PhD, the amount of work, the amount of focus, the amount of energy that's focused on often a smaller and smaller subject, which you have to do in order to be able to add anything to the sum of human knowledge, is deeply impressive. So I would love to have paused and spoken at much greater length to each of the PhD graduates this morning just to get a sense of what it is that they've done. But when I listened to those citations for each of the degrees, and the vast array of what is going on here at the University of York, cognitive neuroscience, facial recognition, which is such an exciting area of work that's going on here, you cannot help but be deeply moved and deeply impressed. And those who claim that we live in a generation of short attention spans and of Twitter of no more than 100 characters unless you're the president-elect, it's a really extraordinary time that universities in our era continue to be vibrant sources of intelligence and of study and of achievement. So I start my few words this morning by again expressing on behalf of everybody our warmest congratulations to those who have come across the podium this morning. Please join with me in doing that. So I just have to say, not everybody's with us today. There are a number of graduands who have not been able to come and take their degrees in person, but in absentia, and so I now formally confer their degrees upon them as well. But coupled with that is my huge appreciation for those who have come to York from across the world, those who have come from all parts of the world to celebrate with us the achievements today. It's so important. This is, on the one hand, it's a formal ceremony. It's a formal ceremony in which those who come into the room we call graduands, and as they leave, they're graduates. They have a degree, or in most cases, yet another degree, assembling, I hope, a long list in due course, but another degree which takes them out further equipped to work in the world. But for those of you who have come from across the globe, we here at the University of York extend our warmest thanks and our warmest welcome. The way in which one prepares for an address like this varies a great deal. I think most chancellors take it very seriously. They sit down and they work out arguments over time and prepare an articulate and clear speech. But when I took on this job just last year, I chose to consult a group of undergraduates as to what was the York way of preparing for a large event and a large presentation like this. And after several consultations, I took them seriously, and I left it until the last minute. I last night got out a large number of beers and a few glasses of wine and brought in large groups of friends, and then when they had all gone, we got onto social media, watched a couple of old movies, and then at about 4:30 this morning, panic sets in, the coffee arrives, and the real business starts. So I've done this the York way. There is no better way, as everybody in the room will be aware. And you know, I've sat in every seat in these houses on graduation ceremonies. I've sat as an undergraduate, as a postgraduate, as a parent times 3, as a person giving degrees, as a vice-chancellor making speeches. And I'm happy to assure everybody today I cannot remember a single word of anything that any of the chancellors ever said in any of those speeches. So you are at no risk today of anything that will blight your careers apart from a mild sedative. Some of my speeches were so pedestrian as to require a zebra crossing all of their own. And yet, I think it's so important today to remember that this is not just the formal ceremony, but it's also a fantastic celebration of achievement. And I'm very, very moved by the way in which so many of you came through and congratulated me on my hat and my gown, and it's fabulous, isn't it? And expressed your warm appreciation of the university, and for that I'm deeply grateful. I'm minded of a graduation ceremony where the university had at the last minute to put up a rather temporary structure, a rather temporary podium, and the students were coming across it. There was one young lad came striding across and thought he'd show off a bit, you know, waved his arms around and jumped up and down. All of a sudden there was a cracking sound, and he disappeared completely in the middle of the podium, and the whole place went silent, apart from his mother, who said, "Just ignore him, it's just a stage he's going through." The highest award a university can confer is an honorary degree. And I'm so impressed by the way in which we look at potential candidates for an honorary degree, because what we want to do is two things. First, to recognize outstanding distinction, to recognize the achievements of those who have pulled through in life to do things that deeply impress other people. And secondly, to use that as an example for everybody who graduates. Everybody in this room has that capacity to star and to perform and to achieve. But I want particularly this morning to commend Alison Birkinshaw, upon whom we've conferred a degree this morning, because not only have we learned of her remarkable achievements as an educational leader, as part of an ecosystem of higher education, but also to know that she's a bassoonist of note. And actually, do you know, from that comes to me the great message: everybody needs a hinterland. We may all succeed at what we set out to do as our primary course of life, but to have a hinterland of something else that we can escape into, something that allows us to distract our minds from what's going on at the forefront, and to relax and to unwind and to perform in teams with other people. So, Alison, we're delighted to welcome you to the array of honorary doctorates. I have to say, we've not always been so successful. When I stood here last January, of two of the honorary graduates that we gave degrees to, one was Armando Iannucci. Now, he is very well known as the writer of satire, political satire, the work called The Thick of It, in which political norms are turned on their heads and politicians behave in the most outrageous ways to each other. And at that time last year, what he was writing seemed like satire rather than like documentary, which the world has come to resemble in that short time. Another person on whom we conferred a degree was Roy Hodgson, who was the England football manager. And we took a great deal of care with Roy Hodgson to explain to him some principles about team selection, the positioning of players on the pitch, and how the game should be organized. But unfortunately, he took it all on board. And England's departure from the Euro 2016 was not a happy one. And so I hope, Dr. Birkinshaw, that we wreak no such havoc upon your future career. So how different the world is today. Today is the day of the inauguration of a new president of the United States. It is the time at which we're going through the alarm calls of Brexit. It is a time when I would suggest the world is a much more uncertain place than it was a year ago when I stood here. There is a set of dark realities that loom ahead, of brash promises, but of the necessary compromises that will be necessary to try to bind together societies that have fallen apart. And I don't mean fallen apart literally, but I mean societies into which there has reached a deep divide. A divide of political opinion, the divide that is an inevitable consequence of a politics of populism, but also a divide which is a real one, I would suggest, between the haves and the have-nots, that voice of pain that expressed itself in the United States being noticed today, particularly by the bikers for Trump, the Hells Angels, the motorcyclists, who've never previously taken any interest in politics, but are turning out in their hundreds of thousands in Washington to support their new president, the bikers for Trump. And yet, against all of that comes two possible courses for the future. One of growing fragmentation, of growing annoyance, of disquiet and dislocation of major populations, represented potentially in this country in our relationships with the EU, but also in our relationship with Scotland and with Northern Ireland, with our own nation, which is at greater risk than ever of exploding, of falling apart. And secondly, the possibility that a number of nations in this world starts to turn inside themselves and to internalize and to lose that great sense of expansion and liberality and globalization that has marked the last 2 decades. And when people complain about globalization, we do need to remember two great nations, particularly, I would say, of India and China, whose economies have expanded so quickly, whose growth of the middle class is in the region of 20 to 30 million people a year, who have found a greater sense of economic security, employment, and an opportunity to shine in the future. But the challenge of globalization equally is those that it leaves behind, those whose jobs become outmoded, those who do not have the education or the cultural experience to adapt quickly into new employment environments. We do know that coming towards us is a fourth industrial revolution, a revolution which will be characterized by a loss of millions of menial, low-skilled jobs across the globe. Indeed, millions of jobs that aren't low-skilled, millions of jobs which are in sectors such as accounting and auditing, and indeed even across into medicine. Why is this? It is that the forthcoming avalanche of robotics and of artificial intelligence, of computers that can teach themselves rather than being programmed by human beings, will start to take over roles that we previously thought of as highly specialized and highly professional. The best way of looking at this is that if your job can be accurately defined, the greater the chances that you'll lose it. So what does that give us as a challenge for a graduating class? To my mind, it is that the future belongs to those who have creativity, who can think outside the machine, who have the intellectual agility, but who, above all, have something that machines cannot yet emulate, which is emotion and empathy. These are the qualities which will be in greatest demand for the future. So it seems to me that we could stress this morning 2 or 3 qualities that will assist us all, and not just our graduates, in thinking about the future. I think the first is that quality of agility. The prizes will go to the agile and to the early adopters in an uncertain world. And for that, I think we need to continue with a strong sense of optimism and of hope. Hope trumps optimism. Hope takes you above mere optimism. Hope takes you to thinking about what a possible future could be. And as an important part of that, frankly, is luck. If you talk to any of our honorary graduates, you'll realize that it's hard work, hope, and good luck that ultimately secures you the gains and the achievements that you get. Secondly, and this is such an obvious point, is integrity. Simple integrity and honesty, and treating people with respect, and maintaining a presence which is not post-fact or post-truth, but which is simply fact and truth. And those are the qualities that we expect our universities to instill across our graduating class. The simple motto is that you can't ever talk yourself out of things that you have behaved yourself into. And then I think thirdly is a sense of focusing on the left behind. In our rush to develop and to advance and to improve ourselves, if we forget those who were the voices of Brexit and of Trump, then we have done nothing for our society. It's a matter of trying to understand other points of view, not becoming separatists, not banning freedom of speech, not banning people speaking on campus because we disagree with them, but being profound about the values that we hold and being willing to challenge others, but also not challenge, but also to listen and to engage with them. So as our graduating class go out today into the world, it's with, I suggest, a sense of humbleness and a sense of integrity and not of entitlement. Let's just reflect on the young graduate from a different university from this, by the way, who went out to his first day as a management trainee in a large retail organization, and his first day was to meet the manager of their largest store. He turned up duly as a graduate entrant at about 9 o'clock in the morning, and the store manager said, so pleased to have you here, a great addition to our enterprise. Now your first task, please, would you take this broom and just sweep out the shop? And the young guy said, look, I'm terribly sorry. He said, it must be a mistake. I'm a graduate. And the store manager said, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I completely forgot. Here, hand me the broom and I'll show you how it works. So here we are, graduating from a hugely successful university, a wonderful institution. Wherever I go in the world, people now say, you're from York. We were there. We know it. We love this institution. So you will, I'm sure, get that everywhere you go in the world. A network of really, truly committed alumni across the world is something that our graduates will join as you go out today. People who are keen to stay in touch and who have every continuing interest in the development and advancement of this great university. So, on your behalf, what I'd like to do is thank some of those who have made this possible today. I'd like to thank the staff who have organised this ceremony. This doesn't just happen. I can tell you there are field marshals behind the scene with clipboards that allow us all to be in the right place at the right time and enjoy today. On your behalf, I'd like to thank that fabulous choir, Honorary, of student voices. It's just brilliant. And to me, it's a small symbol of the excellence and the commitment across the whole of the university. I'd like to thank, in particular, the members of the staff. And we have so many members of the academic staff here today, representing, of course, a much larger group of committed people. But they're the ones who are responsible for your not only for your education, your welfare, but also for your being here today. And by the way, I'm just going to give them a round of applause because this will transmit across the university. And I know on your behalf also you would wish me to thank family, friends and supporters. It's particularly with PhD students, quite often a lonely life, quite often a life of dedication, hard work, inward focus. Sometimes friends and supporters get neglected on the side when one's working long hours and in the laboratory overnight. And those who are here today, who have been your friends, families and supporters, I think also deserve recognition from the rest of us. So thank you for all you've done. Please join me. You may cheer. Well, that's it. One final thing is, let's hear it again for our graduates. Congratulations. I declare this congregation closed.